Welcome to Counterculture-Wise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts, Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. And with the meows of the Maca Meow, welcome to another Counterculture-Wise show.
Yay.
Here we are in the fabulous center of Texas, where it is well over 100 degrees and probably at least 200 degrees here in the Counterculture-Wise studio.
203.
Give or take. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and here with me at my side is my husband, my co-host, my best friend, my pastor, soon to be, and of course, my sweet babu, Mr. James Monis.
Hello, everybody. I was thinking about my grandpa today.
You were?
Yeah. He was...
That's me killing a fly. Got it.
Yeah.
So, your grandpa.
Yeah, he kept warning people the Titanic would sink. Nobody would listen, but he kept talking about it until they threw him out of the theater. Oh.
I heard a dad joke earlier this week that I was going to have you tell, and now I can't remember what it was. Darn it, it was a really bad one, too. It would have been perfect. All right, Mr. Monis, so what are you up to this week?
Well, I'm looking for... Actually, I'm looking for employment. I've got something really cool happening tomorrow, Monday. I'm going to be meeting up with a veterans rep who's going to help me burnish my resume.
Burnish it.
Not set it on fire. Make it look better for...
Burnish it so you can brandish it, right?
Yeah. Burnish it so I can brandish it. And I'm going to be delivering the sermon at church next week.
All right.
So I'm going to be working all week, every spare moment on the sermon. I know what I'm going to talk about, but I want to make it good.
But you want to make it good?
Well, and I want to make it good. I don't know.
But I want to make it good. Yeah. All right.
Been working on it all
so
week.
busy boy.
Yes, indeed.
Hey,
Indeed.
folks, next week we actually have an interview. It's been a spell.
It has been.
Yeah, and it went really well. The man's name is Dan Granger. He is the author of a children's book, Why Is Sam So Sad? It's about seasonal affective disorder, written from the eyes of a child. And he has a lot to say about that and some other subjects. It was an interesting
Very
interview.
interesting.
Very interesting, yes. Oh, you must be so interesting. I'm sorry, Bugs Bunny just came right out.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him.
Put
there
your
with
pitties in
Gossamer.
the water. Smack. Anyway.
Filing Gossamer's nails, yes. Put your pitties in the water. Okay, that is not an inside joke. You are welcome to look it up. Look up Bugs Bunny and Gossamer. Why do I know that monster's name? Anyway,
because you're married to me.
Yeah, that's what it is. But we are eventually going to start a segment called Stump the Monis, where you can send in your questions that either pertain to classic rock or cartoons, and see if you can stump the Monis. I bet you can't. So that'd
it's
be
possible you might be able to.
Then by all means, head on over to counterculturewithDagum and you can contact us that way. If you have a Stump the Bonus question, feel free to send that on over.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to be working on animations. We have a preview of the debates. So you'll get to hear that today and see it hopefully tomorrow if I get it all animated in time. At the very least, you'll get to hear it tonight.
Yeah.
And
we wanted to have it in advance of Tuesday's actual debate.
Yeah, which...
that's going to be the comedy event of the year.
We were at the mercy of our Trump, so we finally got our Trump to deliver, and we'll do
he delivered.
And he delivered.
Man, he always delivers. He does such a good Trump. I mean, I could try to do it.
It's just not.
It just wouldn't be as good.
No, you always you start out Trump and then you end up Reagan, and I get it. Very
well.
Yeah, and he even does the head.
Again.
He even does the head nods when he does Reagan, which is hilarious. Okay, well, current events. What do we got going on for current events?
Well, I don't like starting off with dead people, but let's go ahead and talk about a couple of
people.
Let's talk about a couple of legends who passed this last few days. Firstly, Willie Mays, who was an amazing baseball player.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greats, and he lived to be 93 years old.
And it was funny because while we were doing show prep, Jim's like, oh, Willie Mays died. I bet you don't know who that is. I was like, yeah, baseball player. He was so disappointed because usually he'll say, hey, so-and-so died. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Right.
But no,
the second guy we'll be talking about. But anyway.
He's not in the notes, so I don't know.
No.
I did, however, grab the video of the catch, if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. This was during the World Series in 1954, I believe it was.
In the 50s, yeah.
Amazing.
So, of course, the footage isn't that fantastic, but here you go.
There's a long drive, way back in center field, way back, it is.
Had to get it from several different angles. Look at that, he never takes his eye off the ball, not even for a second.
And Willie Mays gave this crowd of 52,751 an unforgettable sight.
That won the series for them, right?
Yeah, it did help. It helped them win the series because they were tied at the time, if I remember correctly.
He stopped a step short of the wall.
He was willing to really, you talk about taking one for the team, and now he's plowing into the wall at that speed.
His impact was such that the MVP award for the best player of the World Series was named after Willie Mays.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that happened a few years ago. So, yeah.
Wow, what an honor. I'm glad he was alive to get to see that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So, 98?
Yeah. No, 93. He was 93.
So
he was 93.
Slightly younger than our president.
Slightly.
Probably in better shape even still.
But he played for the New York Giants and then San Francisco Giants when they moved to San Francisco, and then spent one not so great season with the Mets, and he finally retired in 1973. It was a long time. He recorded a .301 career batting average, slugged 660 home runs. That's the sixth most all time. Banged out 3,293 hits. 12th most in baseball history, amassed 1,909 runs batted in, 11th most, and scored 2,068 runs, 7th most. So
and this is all before they were all juicing. This is
pure talent. Just one of the
all-time
most incredible baseball players ever. So thank you for bringing joy to so many people. And speaking of joy, bringing joy to so many people, a very versatile actor passed on this week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Donald Sutherland. Yeah, Kiefer's dad, Donald Sutherland, who was 88 when he died. And I remember seeing him in MASH when I was young. He played Hawkeye in the movie version.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he cracked me up in Animal House. He's so deadpan as the teacher who has a fling with Karen Allen's character. And then I saw him in Ordinary People, and that movie wrecked me. That had me sobbing like a little girl who had her dolly shot between the eyes.
I don't even know what that movie's about.
Oh, you got to see it.
Okay.
You got to see it. He played with Mary Tyler Moore, who played very much against type.
Really?
Very.
So not just sweet and darling. But
no, hardly.
she's
not
a
at
good
all.
actress.
She was great.
Yeah.
And Timothy Hutton. He was the son, one of the two sons in the movie. Really, really good movie. And then he was in The Great Train Robbery, which I know you haven't seen because Sean Connery's in it. And so,
not a Sean Connery fan.
No, I think you'd like this one though. Yeah. The only Sean Connery Bond movie she liked at all was Never Say Never Again, which was a remake of Thunderball, but you do what you do.
Yeah, and I didn't like it because he was in it.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. So, but it was because it was real well written, funny. It was funnier than most of them.
Is that the one with Butterhook?
No, Butterhook was Roger Moore and Live and Let Die.
See, the one thing I remembered was the wrong
The one thing you remember isn't what you remembered.
That's what happens when you binge watch movies.
Yeah, I forced her to watch every James Bond movie ever made, so we're caught up now.
Yeah. And, I'm fine if I never see another one. They killed the dude. I mean, it was...
I think if I don't see another one, I'm okay with it. I'm interested to see what they do with the Bond franchise now that they actually, had that 5-movie story arc with Daniel Craig, and now just ended it like no other, like nobody expected this.
They killed off M. They killed off Bond. I mean, they killed off everybody. They killed off Q. They killed off everybody. Everybody's dead.
Everybody's dead. They're all dead.
It's like the end of Rent. They all die.
I didn't know. Of course, they all die. I haven't seen Rent. I couldn't care less.
I've never seen it. I just know that they all die in the end.
Well, yeah, because never mind. I'm going to be nice. There is a pressure when you're a potential associate pastor of a church. Whenever you lead a church, you need to be above reproach. You really have to behave.
I'm reproaching all over the place.
Well, you're my wife. You're supposed to reproach me when I
reproached you good on Friday night. Wait, we shouldn't probably talk about stuff like that.
It was newsworthy. Anyway, we're moving on.
Says you.
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this. I think this is good news.
I don't know.
So let's
when you buy fish these days, a lot of them like salmon and some other types, you can get them either fresh, fresh caught or wild caught.
But
that's what I was looking for, or
farmed.
So farmed fish tastes usually every bit as good. I don't know how much healthier it is, but it's. I
don't think it is, but let's see. Rome.
The
total global volume of fish, shrimp, clams, and other aquatic animals that are harvested by farming has topped the amount fished in the wild from the world's waters for the first time ever, says the United Nations. The UN's Food and Agricultural Organization, in its latest report on fisheries and aquaculture, or farming in water, says the global catch and harvest brought in more than 185 million tons of aquatic animals in 2022, the most recent year for which statistics are available. I wonder how you farm shrimp.
Old MacDonald had some shrimp.
I don't even know what sounds they make. What sound does a shrimp make? With a here and a there, here, there. Okay, experts say the milestone in human history had been expected, as the hauls from fisheries have largely stagnated over the last 3 decades, largely because of limits in nature.
The demand exceeds the availability.
In
other words.
Manuel Barange, who heads the FAO's Fisheries and Aquaculture Division, I did not know that aquaculture was a word, so that is a new word for me today, said aquaculture has benefited from growing recognition of the nutritional benefits like omega-3 and other micronutrients found in food from aquatic animals.
Omega-3 is real good for you.
And lesser environmental impact than food derived from land animals. Seafood is really good for you. The total amount of aquatic animals captured in the wild fell from 91.6 million tons in 2021 to 91 million tons the following year. I guess if we're talking about million tons, 0.6 is a significant
It's still
amount.
it's pretty significant.
Global production rose to 94.4 in 2022. So when did it come out? Okay, Asia was the source of more than 90% of all aquaculture production of aquatic animals. Some 90% of aquatic animals that are farmed or fished go to human consumption, with the remainder going to other uses like feed for animals, like this little furry that's in my hand right now. Or
he was
fish
attacking
oils.
her while she was
Yeah.
reading, and I admire you for keeping your composure while he's clawing your
While
leg
he's drawing
to
blood.
death.
Yeah, he's like, why is the AC off, Mommy? It's hot.
Yeah, well.
The most common fish that are captured in the world's oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, and ponds include Peruvian anchovies, which we had on our pizza earlier this
Yum.
week, yum yum, skipjack tuna, and Alaskan pollock, while freshwater carp, oysters, clams, shrimp, tilapia, which is garbage, and prawns are among the most harvested animal life. I wonder what the difference between prawns and shrimp are. I always thought that they were the same thing, it's just prawns were bigger.
I was under that impression, but I don't want to give misinformation to our beloved listeners.
Well, I would look it up, but I only have one hand with which to type.
You do that without the cat. You only have one hand with which to type really right now.
That's true.
Prayers for my wife that her hand continues to heal.
Yeah, long story.
So we all know the myth about George Washington chopping down the cherry tree, but this is a very interesting story. Archaeologists at George Washington's historic Virginia home have unearthed more than 24 bottles of cherries and berries dating back to the 18th century in a particularly juicy find. Okay, good writing.
They don't look juicy to me.
No.
They look dusty.
Officials first announced in April that they had discovered 2 glass jars of cherries, liquid in pits, while excavating the cellar of Mount Vernon, the residence, plantation, and final resting place of the nation's first president. Further sweetening the deal, last week they announced the discovery of 35 more fruit-filled vessels. Officials say 29 of the bottles are intact and contain perfectly preserved cherries and berries, likely gooseberries or currants. Wow. To our knowledge, this is an unprecedented find, and nothing of this scale and significance has ever been excavated in North America, Mount Vernon president and CEO Doug Bradburn said in a statement. The bottles, whose shapes are characteristics of styles from the 1740s and 1750s, were discovered in 5 storage pits throughout the cellar. These artifacts likely haven't seen the light of day since before the American Revolution, perhaps forgotten when George Washington departed Mount Vernon to take command of the Continental Army,
Those
Bradburn
do not
added.
look edible.
No.
They say they're preserved, but they don't look preserved to me.
Well, I ain't putting them in my face. That was in 1775. Archaeologists revisited the site as part of a privately funded $40 million preservation project aimed at ensuring Mount Vernon's structural integrity and slated for completion in 2026, just in time for America's 250th birthday. That's mind-blowing. I remember the bicentennial.
Yeah,
I was
me
in
too.
Boston during the bicentennial. That was pretty cool.
I still have a coin collection from then that my grandma swore was going to be worth a whole lot of money, and nope.
Yeah, nope. Now, fresh off this well-preserved discovery, researchers hope that modern technology will allow them to learn more about the cherries and, by extension, the world from which they came. Jason Burrows, the principal archaeologist at Mount Vernon, called the discovery beyond extraordinary. He told NPR and WBUR's Here and Now in April that intact 18th century food remains is just not something that's typically found. The cherries, he added, can serve as a window into the environment and cuisine of the period, as well as the entire Mount Vernon community, and not just the first family. The bottles and the contents are actually material items that were connected to real lives and real people in the past, Burroughs said. They may have been intended for the Washington's table, but they were certainly picked and packaged and stored by members of the enslaved community here.
Oh.
Burroughs said this month the bottles and their contents are a testament to the knowledge and skill of the enslaved people who managed the food preparations from tree to table at Mount Vernon. At least 577 enslaved people lived at Mount Vernon during the course of Washington's life, according to the institution.
That many? I had no idea.
Washington left instructions in his will for the eventual emancipation of those he owned. Among them was Doll, who was 38 in 1759 when Martha Washington brought her and her 5 children to the estate and placed her in charge of the kitchen. Doll likely no longer had a formal work assignment in her later years, but continued to use the kitchen to distill rose and mint water for medicinal purposes and to dry fruits such as cherries, historians say. In fact, a 1795 letter from Martha Washington to her niece, Fanny Bassett, appears to acknowledge Doll's expertise in that area. Martha, writing from Philadelphia to Bassett, who lived at Mount Vernon, mentioned she would like some of the morally cherries dried, adding, "I think old doll cannot forget how to do them." And then there's a photo of some of these bottles. Pretty amazing. It's not the only clue to Washingtons were fans of cherries. Historians at Mount Vernon say the family often enjoyed a popular brandy-based drink called Cherry Bounce, made from cherry juice infused with spices over the course of 2
I
weeks.
had a friend who made that.
Oh, wow. I'll bet that's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Washington was apparently such a fan of the cordial that has generally packed a canteen of it, as well as Madeira and port, for 1784 journey across the Allegheny Mountains. So Washington was lush. Okay, cool.
Yay,
Burroughs told
one of
Here and
us.
Now that there is also evidence, including from letters and diaries of Chesapeake planters, that families in the area would enjoy bowls of preserved cherries with meals. It's a long
article,
It's a long
but
article,
you
but
can
you
head on
get
over
the
to
idea.
counterculturewise.com to read the rest of it. All right. Here at Counterculturewise, we like to educate. So this is what I have learned.
What have you learned, Melanie?
Prawns and shrimp are two types of crustaceans that are often confused with each other. While they share some similarities, they are distinct species with notable differences.
No kidding.
To 8 years old. Prawns have 3 pairs of legs, while shrimp only have 2 pairs. Prawns have claws on 3 pairs of legs, while shrimp only have claws on 2 pairs. Prawns have branching gills, while shrimp have lamellar gills, which are plate-like in structure. I don't know if there's like a picture that'll show me the difference between the two. It's a picture.
Shows you most of them have like cooked prawns and cooked shrimp.
I know, they're all like
absolutely useless.
Absolutely useless. Thanks a lot. I kind of want to see them in the wild.
All that's doing is making me hungry. Thanks.
I know, right?
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Send Gemma out for lunch here. Okay. Branching gills and shrimp have lamellar gills. Prawns have longer legs than shrimp. Prawns and shrimp have similar taste and nutritional profiles, with both providing protein, beneficial fats, vitamins, and minerals. However, prawns are considered a delicacy and are often priced higher than shrimp due to their larger size and more complex flavor profile. Ding, 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 ding. So now you know.
Now we know. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
Something every day.
This is it started off as a sad story, but it turned out to be pretty cool.
I think it's sweet.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
An Arizona woman held a fun-a-roll to celebrate her late husband's life, complete with a bouncy castle, his favorite food, and party bags for guests to take home among the many good vibes. This is how it's done, folks. I want this. Katie Young suddenly lost her husband, Brandon, after he suffered a stroke at the age of 39.
That is too young for that garbage.
Way too young for that garbage. And he passed away just a few weeks later on May 17th. The couple had 3 children together, and Katie didn't want them to have horrible memories of their dad's send-off. It's tough.
Real
taking
tough.
Kids to funerals. I mean, they don't understand half of it, and even if they do, they're so sad. I was thinking about my children and how the day would be, and it felt so wrong. All we were going to do is have these horrible memories. It didn't feel true to Brandon. Instead of holding a traditional service and wake, the 40-year-old widow set out to make it a funeral, ensuring the day would be a celebration of Brandon's life for her kids aged 8 through 12, and the hundreds of guests. Hundreds of guests. Go Brandon. She featured his favorite foods, chips and dips, and displayed his artwork and vast record collection so everyone could take home a goodie bag of items that would keep his memory alive. That's so sweet.
And that photo, the first photo in the article shows guy had hundreds of records.
Yeah. Crafting tables were even set up for people to make their own art. Wow, he did. He had a lot. I didn't quite.
It looks like one of those sales at a swap meet when they have all these classic records they're trying to sell. Yeah.
Every time I started thinking about planning a traditional funeral, I did not want to do it, said the shop owner from Gilbert, Arizona. I've been to Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert's cool. I'd live there.
Yeah.
I'd live there. I literally would.
She became adamant about holding a celebration that her husband of 16 years would have enjoyed. I have so many happy memories of Brandon. We loved to cook together, and he taught me to have fun in the kitchen. I would follow a recipe, and he would make things up.
Sounds like us.
That sounds exactly like us. Only in reverse.
Reverse, yeah, definitely in reverse.
Katie said she knew the day was perfect when she looked over her children, and they all had smiles on their faces. They're such a pretty family.
Here's a handsome man, too. Good gravy.
It was beautiful. Beautiful kids. They will only have the happiest memories from their dad's funeral instead of it being traumatic. Brandon loved being a dad more than anything on earth. He would have been happy that his kids were happy. And he is. He is.
Outstanding.
All right, if the cat will let go of one of our fingers long enough.
3D printing. You can make guns with it. You can make
We didn't set this
dentures
up
with
right.
it.
This is supposed to be my article, but I'll let you read it.
Oh.
That's okay. I think this is badass. This is up there with Def Leppard badass.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better. Aubrey Salvi, 12, never let anything stop her from following her dreams. She has danced competitively, has a black belt in taekwondo, and played drums in her middle school band. She does it all without hands. It's just one part of me, Aubrey said. It doesn't make me. She's very kind and very empathetic, Aubrey's mother, Jennifer Salvi, explained, and creative. Like any 12-year-old, she said that she loves makeup, art, dance, and music. The only difference is she does it all without hands. Aubrey was born as a triple congenital amputee, meaning that she does not have limbs below both her elbows and a foot is missing toes. While her peers might have been completing tasks faster, Aubrey wasn't going to let anything stand in the way of doing the same task. It definitely was a challenge to learn, but as time went on, it became easier and easier until it wasn't difficult at all, Aubrey described. She used a spoon, kept soup on the spoon, and flipped it around, Jennifer explained. I thought, well, if she can do that, she can do anything. From a young age, that is precisely what Aubrey did, just about everything and anything. She learned to cook, dance competitively, do taekwondo, apply makeup, and now plays drums in her middle school band. But like many kids, she experienced a different level of bullying over social media. I'm really glad they didn't have social media when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was crazy. A lot of the kids that did it didn't even know my name or anything, Aubrey explained. So they were just going off, oh, she doesn't have hands. We kind of took a break from that because my grades started falling behind and stuff because I was just really overwhelmed, Aubrey said. So we took a break from social media.
What kind of monster teases somebody for being born without hands? What are these parents doing with these little brats? I mean, where do they even get that idea?
No idea. Aubrey said family and friends support got her past the cruel comments and posts. You've just got to tune it out because people are going to say stuff no matter what, Aubrey said. And just remember, it is probably something that's going on with them, so they want to take their anger and agitation on you. From overcoming bullying to playing her drum by holding the drumstick in the crease of her elbow. Creative. Aubrey wouldn't let anything stop her from pursuing her dreams. The only thing holding her back was she couldn't find the position or the firm sound she wanted. It was kind of difficult because the sticks would start slipping, Aubrey said. Aubrey's middle school band teacher recommended her as a candidate for the Tennessee Tech University program, Tech Engineering for Kids. That's when 10 Tennessee Tech students in the program stepped in and began planning to provide Aubrey with 3D prosthetics made specially for drums.
That is so cool.
Wow. So she plays the drums. Does she also play the mallets? Tennessee Tech mechanical engineering student Zachary Henson said as he recalled his thought process. Does she play a xylophone? Something like that. So like, is it going to have different handles? How is it going to be secured to the hand? All these questions we were thinking through. After 3 to 4 weeks of playing, the 10 students decided to create the prosthetic using a 3D printer. They said, no, we are going to make the final product 3D printed, Tennessee Tech professor of mechanical engineering Stephen Canfield said. And that's when I sort of said those infamous words. I said, that is a 1 in a million chance that will work. But I said, hey, give it a try.
Give it a try.
What's the worst that could happen, as Melanie likes to say. The students spent an entire semester working with Aubrey to get measurements and preferences before returning to the lab for research and development. I was with family relations, Micah Page, a mechanical engineering major at Tennessee Tech, explained. I actually got to go meet her and measure her and see if it worked for her. The students would wait hours for each completed drafted session on a 3D printer. At first, it was mostly on me to see if this product would even work, Branson Blaylock, Tennessee Tech mechanical engineering student, said. So I took a big shot in the dark just by saying basically rubber would even work. So my team was counting on me because it didn't work, and we would have to go back to square one. There were so many drafts, Paige said, and I'm glad we did because we got it exactly how she wanted it. We were just sitting there like, wow, we just accomplished this. The final product was durable yet flexible, allowing drumstick attachments for both arms. She just had such better sound quality, Paige said, and the way we designed the wrist of the arm, like it had some flexibility to get that paradiddle type sound. I did get to see it fitting on her arm, and that was something so cool, Henson expressed. Ultimately, I wanted to use my knowledge of mechanical engineering to help someone. Aubrey told News 2 it gave her the sound she had hoped for and much more. I had hoped to be able to continue this drumming, Aubrey said. It was kind of unbelievable because I am like building the students' future. They were so enthusiastic and determined to make it work, Aubrey recalled. I appreciated that because they made something that I'm going to use for a while. In the near future, now that she has 2 firm grasps on the sticks, Aubrey said that she plans to play a full set of drums with her new prosthetics.
Yay!
Meanwhile, in the fall, the Tech Engineering for Kids program will serve 12 to 15 kids and families with needs similar to Aubrey's. That is bloody
awesome.
Amazing.
I'm gonna.
It almost falls into the Wonderfuller, but
yeah, almost. I'm gonna show a little bit of the video.
And now the Iberian lynx is back from the brinks of being extinct.
Okay, then.
The Iberian lynx is back from the brink of extinction thanks to conservation efforts.
They're so cute!
They are cute. Things are looking up for the Iberian lynx. Just over 2 decades ago, the pointy-eared wildcat was on the brink of extinction, but as of Thursday, the International Union for Conservation of Nature says it's no longer an endangered species. Yay! I said endangered, didn't I?
You said endangered.
Endangered.
No, not
endangered.
Not endangered no more.
Successful conservation efforts mean that the animal, native to Spain and Portugal, is now barely a vulnerable species, according to the latest version of the IUCN Red List.
You're just barely vulnerable.
Yeah, just like me. In 2001, there were only 62 mature Iberian lynx, medium-sized mottled brown cats with characteristic pointed ears and a pair of beard-like tufts of facial hair on the Iberian Peninsula. The species' disappearance was closely linked to that of its main prey, the European rabbit, as well as habitat degradation and human activity. Alarms went off and breeding, reintroduction protection projects were started, as well as efforts to restore habitats like dense woodland, Mediterranean scrublands, and pastures. More than 2 decades later, in 2022, nature reserves in southern Spain and Portugal contain 648 adult specimens. The latest census from last year shows that there are more than 2,000 adults and juveniles, they said. It's really a huge success and exponential increase in the population size, Craig Hilton Taylor, head of the IUCN Red List unit, told the Associated Press.
They're so cute!
They are cute. One of the keys to their recovery has been the attention given to the rabbit population, which has been affected by changes in agricultural production. Their recovery has led to a steady increase in the lynx population, Hilton Taylor said. The greatest recovery of a cat species ever achieved through conservation is a result of committed collaboration between public bodies, scientific institutions, NGOs, private companies, and community members, including local landowners, farmers, gamekeepers, and hunters. The man who coordinates the Life Lynx Connect project said in a statement.
Life Lynx, that's a good name for a company.
It is.
What?
They've also worked with local communities to raise awareness of the importance of the Iberian lynx in the ecosystem, which helped reduce animal deaths due to poaching and roadkill. In addition, farmers receive compensation if the cats kill any of their livestock, Hilton Taylor said.
Oh, that's fair.
Indeed. Since 2010, more than 400 Iberian lynx have been reintroduced to parts of Portugal and Spain, and now they occupy at least 3,320 square kilometers, an increase from 449 square kilometers in 2005. That is just amazing.
That's cool. So that goes on for a little bit more, but you can always find the links on counterculturewise.com.
Absolutely.
This one is interesting.
It's interesting.
An Austrian heiress lets 50 citizens decide who will get her. Is that?
That's euros.
Euros, 25 million euro fortune. Could you look up how much that is in dollars?
Sure.
I think we're not comparative anymore. Austrian-German heiress Marlene Engelhorn allowed 50 members of the public to donate her inheritance to various organizations, including a homicide charity and a nature conservation association. Among the 77 organizations who will receive the money, $300,000 will be donated to the Autonomous Austrian Women's Shelters, Nature Restoration Charity, and the Kuman Foundation will get 100,400 euros. So they go on to list more and more and more. Other recipients, blah, blah, blah. She set up a group of 50 random citizens in Salzburg. Is that the figure?
Yeah, it's 26,734,000.
Oh, okay.
So it's close.
All right.
It's close.
50 random citizens in Salzburg who deliberated over 6 weekends on how best to divide her deliberating. What do you think they were fighting? In deciding how she would give away her wealth, she sent out 10,000 invitations that landed in letterboxes across Austria. So that really was random. Those who were chosen to take part formed the Good Council for Redistribution. Sounds like a government agency. Selected members were offered a series of lectures, including from philosophers and economics professors. Philosophers? Okay. To inspire their choices on who would ultimately get Engelhorn's fortune. The project insists that, aside from addressing how to tackle the division of Engelhorn's money, it is ultimately about taking steps to answer questions of social and fiscal justice. She is the descendant of Friedrich Engelhorn, the founder of German Pharmaceuticals, founder BASF. They previously owned the German pharmaceutical company Boehringer Mannheim. Forbes estimated the family's net worth to be $4.2 billion. Inheritance tax was abolished in Austria in 2008, making it one of the few European countries that do not impose a tax on inherited family wealth.
Hey, why don't they do that here?
Because our government is greedy and wants to send all our money to Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
Of course, and you can tell just by looking at her
she's
that she's one of them.
She's a champagne socialist. Yeah, okay.
Campaigning for years that the government should impose tax on wealth such as her own, arguing that it is unfair that she should receive the fortune despite having not worked for it. Well, then use
for it.
Yeah, work for it. I mean, you don't have to. You can say, no, give it to me. I've worked for it and I don't get a dime. In a mission statement published in January, Engelhorn said if the government does not ensure that wealth is redistributed in society, she's a socialist. Of course she's in Austria. Then we have to take action and make sure that the issue gets the attention it deserves. Or you can just redistribute your own damn wealth and leave the rest of us alone.
Well,
so it's a pseudo-wonderful story. It's nice that she's giving her money away. It's not nice that she's a commie.
Oh, well.
Your turn.
My turn.
You'll like this one.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just not that conversant about Coldplay's music, although they have a song called Clocks that I really like. Anyway, Coldplay has a new album announced, Moon Music, and in keeping with both the rise in conscious consumerism and the vinyl revival, yay, there's a limited edition record made using plastic removed from Rio Las Vacas in Guatemala. The eco-conscious band has collaborated with Dutch nonprofit The Ocean Cleanup, who have a mission to rid oceans and waterways of plastic. I believe we talked about this organization in a past episode of Counterculture Wise.
Mm-hmm.
Much of their most publicized work takes place around the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the Pacific Ocean. However, the organization is also deeply active in the world's river systems, deploying floating barricades and special boats to trap and collect dumped plastics and prevent them from entering oceans in the first place. Their Interceptor 006 floating barricade system was deployed in the Rico Las Vacas in 2023 to stop plastic emissions into the Gulf of Honduras. Interceptor 006 made significant impact and captured large quantities of plastic, which has now been sorted, blended, tested, and used to manufacture Coldplay's limited edition physical release, stated the Ocean Cleanup. The final product, dubbed the Notebook Edition LP, consists of 70% river plastic intercepted by the Ocean Cleanup and 30% recycled waste plastic bottles from other sources. That's pretty amazing. Coldplay provides financial support for the nonprofit's cleaning operations, sponsors Interceptor 005 in the Klang River, Malaysia, and there's a photo of it.
You know, it seems to me like there's no reason for us to make new plastic. Why are we even making new plastic?
It's still cheaper to make it make new plastic. It shouldn't be by now, but it is.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
And shared the Ocean Cleanup's mission with millions of their fans during their record-breaking Music of the Spheres tour. Coldplay is an incredible partner for us, and I'm thrilled that our plastic catch has helped bring moon music to life, said Boyan Slat, founder and CEO of Ocean Cleanup. Ensuring the plastic we catch never re-enters the marine environment is essential to our mission. I'm excited to see how we'll continue innovating with Coldplay and our other partners to rid the oceans of plastic together.
Coldplay. I like it when artists do good things and stay out of politics.
Right. This is just a good thing they're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, for those interested, Coldplay's Moon Music album is set for release on October 4th.
October 5th.
So be listening for it.
For it. Well, we've done weird and wonderful, and now it's time for wicked. Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. Now, some may disagree with me on this one.
I
may even have
conflicting feelings about this. In the end, the Constitution wins for me, but
yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this. I put this in. This is why we can't have nice things, because this is bad all around.
Yeah,
I do not want pride flags. I do not want political statements. I don't want any of that garbage in our schools. And I say, if you're going to allow teachers to fly pride flags, then yes, you should be allowed to put up the 10 Commandments and a cross and whatever the heck you want as a teacher.
Right.
But I don't think you should be mandated at any time. Frankly, I think you should not be allowed to do any of that. I want my kids going in there, learning reading, writing, arithmetic, play nice, be fair. Here's our Constitution. This is what it stands for. Now go home and play. And I'm not sending you home with homework because I'm an effective teacher that doesn't need to sign it. But I digress.
Yes.
So, Louisiana, which we all know is going to lose once it goes to court, have signed a bill that they have to put the 10 Commandments in every classroom on a poster. And you know what's going to happen. You know, we're going to have Moloch up, and we're going to have the spaghetti monster.
The Vedas, the...
Yeah, you're going to have all of them up because everybody gets butthurt if a Christian gets, one thing,
That's the main reason I oppose it. It just opens up a gigantic can of worms.
Yeah. A lot of people don't
muddies the water considerably.
Yeah. A lot of people, of course, are going to be screeching about the separation of church and state, which is not what that means. At all.
Right.
At all.
Right.
People don't understand what it means. It means, and it says, if anybody bothers to read the Constitution, that Congress cannot pass a law forcing you to have an established religion. The whole purpose that we moved here is so that we had freedom of religion and freedom of speech, that we were getting away from the state mandated religion.
Right.
That
We're not Iran.
Right. That I get. Well, they want us to be, though.
Yeah.
And saying that a teacher has to post a particular version, because remember, there's several different versions. There's Catholic, there's Jewish, there's non-Catholic Christian. There's different versions of the commandments.
And are we going to be doing the King James version, the New International version, the New Living Translation, the Jewish,
right. And I could see something like that up in, say, a humanities classroom where you're learning about different religions. Or if you are going to allow these fruity-haired teachers with all their piercings to put up their pride nonsense and all that garbage, then the Christian teachers should be allowed to put up their stuff too. Frankly, I think neither of them. Neither. So this is where I land on this. There's a lot of churches out there saying this is a good thing. Yes, in my heart, I would love every child to know what those are. In my head, I think it makes it worse for Christians. I think it actually puts us in a bad light. I think it makes it harder.
Well, there's already people on social media painting us all with a brush saying we all want this. And I'm not... I mean... If you're going to publish something from the Bible, maybe the Beatitudes might be better. Blessed
proverb here or there.
Yeah, maybe instead of "Thou shalt have no more other god before me." I mean, that works in my life.
That's pretty specific. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am sorry, Louisiana. Your heart is in the right place, but I disagree with this 100%.
It won't last anyway.
No, it's not.
They're just doing it to score political points. That's what they're doing, which is kind of a sin in of itself.
I mean, yes, the United States, and come at me, just come at me. The United States was indeed formed on a religious foundation, a Judeo-Christian foundation. Yes, it was. You cannot dispute that. With the caveat that we wanted freedom here, and freedom for all as far as what we can say and what and who we can worship. That is why this is in the First Amendment. That is why we have the Bill of Rights. And as much as this current administration is just using the Bill of Rights for toilet paper, we cannot be as bad as them. We cannot go the other direction. We have to right the ship. We cannot stoop to their levels. And this to me is stooping.
Very much.
So, yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, I think it would be amazeballs for every child of every creed, color, religion, whatever, to hear and understand. But I would rather them read the Constitution. I would rather them study the Bill of Rights. I would rather them know that we are a republic, as Chuck will tell us about.
Unbelievable. On that one, unbelievable.
Just,
We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Louisiana. I am not siding with you on this one. So I am sure that the Supreme Court is going to completely negate this.
It's going to slap it out of your hand, kid.
And it just paints Christians in general in a bad light. We don't agree with this.
No. As a Bible-believing Christian who strives to follow the Ten Commandments, I can't see that lasting in schools.
No.
We're way past that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time back in the 40s and 50s and before that. This isn't those times.
But I also
anymore.
don't think we should have anything trans, anything
No,
gay.
I think putting up political
cat
posters.
litter boxes in the bathrooms, none of that. I want none of that in my schools. None of that. I want be kind to each other, learn how to share. Here's how you do math. Here's reading. Here's how to think. Not what to think, but how to think.
That way
problem solving. How to balance your checkbook, maybe.
Yeah.
This is the Constitution. This is the Declaration of Independence.
Plus basic cooking skills and basic life functions.
How to change a tire, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess you can't even do that anymore because cars aren't even allowed to have tires in them. Thanks, California.
Huh?
Yeah, new cars. We don't have a spare tire. Not even allowed to have them. You don't even have a jack anymore.
Not allowed?
Yeah.
So if I want to put a spare tire in my car...
Well, no, you could aftermarket.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but California made it so that you can't because they had to lighten the car so much to meet the gas economy. And now they want to take away California that can't keep the lights on. Wants everybody to drive electric cars. Okay.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Let's just look at the graveyard in China of electric cars, once the batteries died and they're useless.
It's more expensive to run the batteries than it is to pump gas.
Well, yeah, and most of the electricity that these things are plugging into is still from coal-powered plants.
Exactly.
So basically, they just make coal-powered cars.
Feel-good nonsense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
as is this.
Maybe the governor's heart's in the right place.
His heart's in the right place. It's just you can't. Much like the entire liberal side, you can't just let your emotions lead you.
Right.
You have to think things through. This is not going to stand.
No, I won't.
All right. Oh,
this is hilarious.
This one is.
Here's another Jussie Smollett. Only he's in.
Don't have enough hate, so we got to create.
Create the hate, yo. And this, unfortunately, is happening in our beautiful home state of Texas. The Democratic challenger. Who else? For Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Commissioner is facing charges for allegedly creating a fake social media account to post racist comments directed at himself after the Republican incumbent requested an investigation last year. According to arrest warrant documents, Precinct 3 Commissioner Andy Myers requested the Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office begin an investigation in October regarding the source behind several social media posts directed at his opponent Taral Patel. This came after Patel, 30, issued a statement on his social media accounts with a collage of racist posts that he claimed were directed at him. Although many of the usernames were concealed, Myers told investigators he recognized an account that went by the name Antonio Scallywag as someone who had attacked him before. Investigators found that the fake account used a profile photo that belonged to someone else. The DA's office issued a subpoena to Facebook and Google, which allowed them to obtain account data that matched Patel's address, phone number, Texas driver's license number, bank card number, and other personal information.
Wait, they can get all of that? Yee.
You got to be careful. Yeah. You don't have a private life. If you go online, you don't have a private life anymore. On Wednesday, the Texas Rangers arrested Patel. I hope Walker got him first. Texas Rangers arrested Patel on a third-degree felony charge for online impersonation and a Class A misdemeanor charge for misrepresentation of identity, which is found under the Texas Election Code. A spokesperson with the Fort Bend County District Attorney's Office said this is the first time their agency has charged someone with an election-related misdemeanor. Patel previously served as Chief of Staff for Fort Bend County Judge K.P. George from 2018 to 2021. according to his LinkedIn. In a statement to ABC 13, George wrote, "As a public official, I address the recent events involving a former employee with a deep sense of concern. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, I emphasize the vital importance of upholding the principles of due process and impartial investigation. I trust that this matter will be examined without prejudice." I need to distance myself from this person, but I'm not going to completely distance myself in case it turns out to be legit.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I love the double speak. Maybe if I just say enough big
Natural-born
words.
Yeah. there, Judge.
Yeah. So his bond was set at $20,000 for the felony and
$2,500 for the misdemeanor.
Which call me weird, but this seems to me like way more direct election interference than telling some broad to shut up and paying her to shut up, which isn't illegal. So yeah.
Tever.
All right. This one. Ted Bundy's family breaks a 50-year silence to reveal serial killer's chilling final letters. Okay, this is gonna blow your mind. The final death row letters from the world's most infamous serial killer reveal that he tried to convince his family he was innocent.
No!
He even compared himself to Gandhi. I'm not making this
up. Was
up.
he bald and wearing glasses and stooped over? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, apparently his cousin, who's now in her 70s, spoke to this Daily Mail ahead of the release of their upcoming... Of course, there's an upcoming book. She's in her 70s. She's just now publishing the book, Growing Up with Ted Bundy. The book contains letters she exchanged with Bundy as he awaited execution for several murders, with investigators believing his true number of victims far exceeded the 30 he eventually confessed 2 hours before he died. Oh, he did confess. Okay. I will tell you this much. I have not killed anyone, Bundy, who Martin described as more a brother, said in one death row letter. You knock yourself... Well, there were women writing love letters to this freak. I have no guilt, remorse, or regret over anything I've done.
It's because he was a good-looking guy.
What's done is done. No, you're not that good-looking. So Edna's the one riding the horse. Tacoma, Washington is where I'm from. I guess he aged okay. Not that we care. Realizing he had done it was awful. It was sickening, Edna said, after recalling their happy, normal childhoods growing up together. It was not the Ted that I knew and loved. I felt betrayed and manipulated by him. And at least you got to live, lady. Edna is the first family member who grew up with Bundy to detail what it was like to have the world's most notorious serial killer as a family member. Now, 50 years on from his trial arrest in 1975, she has decided to tell her story that has been bottled up for decades. His first known victim, Washington ski reporter Lisa Ann Healy, was murdered in 1974. Edna reveals she met her several times. Oh my, while studying at the University of Washington, my alma mater. Dozens of women were killed or disappeared before he was first charged with murder in 1976. Oh, I thought he was out there doing it a lot longer than that. So here's one of his letters. Very swoopy. An original copy of the letter. He then managed to escape prison in Colorado in 1977, carried out several... I did not know that. I know very little about this guy. Of course, I was a baby. Carried out several more murders, including 2 sorority sisters and a 12-year-old girl in Florida. He was a monster. For this crime, he was sent to the electric chair. In her letters, Edna pleads with Ted to confess before he is executed, hoping their childhood spent together in Tacoma would convince him. All these years I have written you hundreds of letters in my mind, only to tear them up in shreds of frustration. She began in a letter, dated May 31st, 1986, days after Ted's first execution date was set. How long did it take to finally off this guy? Ted, it took me a long time to accept the fact that someone I considered not only a close friend, but occasionally a confidant, capable of ever committing the acts of violence that you are guilty of. Like everyone else near you, I only saw one side of you. So here's her letter, all these years, hundreds of letters, blah, blah, blah. What happened to you, Ted, that you would develop such a deep rage, a deep hatred, that you would feel overwhelmed to such an extent that you killed ruthlessly in cold blood without mercy? Nothing happened to him. He was a psychopath. For the sake of your... somebody retyped it, I guess. For the sake of your family, and especially the families of your victims, will you please explain what happened? She wrote. Some of the women you murdered have never been found. So they reposted the letter if you want to go read it all the way through. And that's the name of her book. Let's see if we can get her on the show.
That actually would be really cool.
Yeah. So it goes on to talk a little bit more about that. I just thought it was hilarious that he tried to convince everybody that he was innocent.
I'm innocent. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like Gandhi. I'm being persecuted. And then he's like,
I am a Dindu.
Yeah.
Just like Gandhi, I am a Dindu.
And then 5 minutes before, he gets off, he's like, wait, no, I did it. I confess. Yeah. I don't think God's up there saying, all right, we'll let this one go between you and me.
Yeah, downstairs in the fiery pit is where he was most likely.
All right, we're going to have to talk about Commander.
This is not Bubba Waters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
I can do things other people can't. And by the way, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got hairy legs.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
And I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was 6 hours. I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch! Got fired.
Ambrose Brosey, they call him Bosey, Montfort Bosey. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
这是真的一场
I'm the only white boy within 20 miles.
So it's not enough to have a cabbage running the free world, or what used to be the free world, but we've also got to have a cabbage who likes Nazi dogs.
Yeah, this dog makes
I feel sorry for the
Saddam
dogs.
Hussein look like a saint.
And isn't this the puppy that he traded in the other dog for?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think it says a lot about a man. Let's just say the fruits of his labor, between his crackhead son who bangs his dead brother's wife and then her sister.
Yep.
Sells out the country, makes sure he gets 10% to the big guy.
Yeah.
Sex his own niece, is caught with underage prostitutes, and gets away with all of that, is probably going to get away with illegally obtaining a gun and throwing it in a garbage can across the street from a school.
Right.
And literally is getting away with treason, and daddy is totally uninvolved. Of course, he's so brain dead it doesn't matter at this point.
Sure.
But we also have to have attack dogs literally viciously attacking the very people who are supposed to be protecting him. If he can't raise a decent child or train a frickin' dog, why is he in charge of a nation?
Because he is the father of our country. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion.
More votes than God.
More votes than God.
More votes than any entity ever to run for any office on the planet. Yeah, I'm buying
81
that.
million legitimate votes. How dare you question it?
Legitimate, my fuzzy white behind.
Anyway.
So anyways, after quote-unquote rescuing a dog and then basically throwing it away because he can't be bothered to train it, he went and got a puppy and obviously couldn't even train a puppy from scratch, which, folks, is not hard. It's not hard to train a dog not to bite. It's not hard. You can even train a mean dog not to bite if you have enough intelligence and patience and consistency. But if you're running around, playing with your cracked up, he probably is too. I mean, there's no way the man operates on all cylinders.
Well, what I love about this article is that there's a picture of Commander along with Joe, and it said the Secret Service destroyed a video that showed Commander Biden left. In case you didn't know which one we're talking about. Anyway, I gave away part of the story. Did you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
With the understanding that I might rave a little bit in the middle of it. So
I'm happy to do it.
Be prepared for that.
I am prepared, mentally and emotionally. The Secret Service destroyed a video that captured President Joe Biden's dog, Commander, chomping down on one of its agents in an attack that forced the White House to shut down tours so blood could be wiped off the floor.
Groovy.
DailyMail.com filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the Secret Service in March after a video was mentioned as part of an email that detailed a June 15, 2023 biting incident with the since banished first dog. The video purportedly showed the doggy woggy running at a high rate of speed and jumping toward the agent in the East Wing's Kennedy Garden, leaving a deep bite on the individual's arm. Leaving a deep bite on the individual's left arm.
Not sure what that was, but okay.
That was me going into JFK.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Leaving a deep bite on the individual's left arm that reportedly needed stitches, the email said. East Wing tours were stopped for approximately 20 minutes due to blood from the incident being on the floors in the area of the booksellers. The message continued, referencing the room that is
already get
just
hazard
inside
pay.
the
This
garden.
is over the top.
The Secret Service's FOIA officer, Kevin Terrell, wrote to David, I had to point that out, Daily Mail, and let her pray that due to Secret Service retention standards, the above-mentioned file has been destroyed. File S in the thing has been destroyed. Anyway.
Along with Hillary's emails and all the
in a follow-up,
subpoenaed.
Yep. In a follow-up exchange, Secret Service spokesman Anthony Guglielmi explained that the agency abides by the federal records retention schedule that defines when certain types of records can be archived, destroyed, etc. Guglielmi said he didn't have direct knowledge of the video in question. Based on that response, I am assuming that the record in question is no longer available because of the expiration of record retention. Yeah. While DailyMail.com...
I don't know, look in old Joe's garage. He seems to have a propensity for keeping
storing
things.
Stuff. While DailyMail.com...
And getting away with it.
Indeed. While they previously obtained a photo of Commander jumping up and appearing to bite a White House groundskeeper, video footage of the dog attacks hasn't been released. There are at least 25 documented Commander attacks, and more from the Biden's previous rescued German Shepherd Major. So they're unable to, I don't know if it's an unwillingness or an inability to.
Well, look at him. He can't even command his own diaper. How is he going to command a dog?
Yeah. Documents obtained in February. I think the next one the next dog you should name PFC, Private First Class. They're not that. And just as a joke, I was a PFC. Okay. I retired from the Jarheads as a PFC after 4 years of hell. Documents obtained in February by Judicial Watch, a conservative group that has uncovered many of the biting incidents, detailed the June 15, 2023 incident, which was reported Deputy Assistant Director Daryl Volpicel. Are we putting a bunch of gangsters here? Anyway, other emails from that FOIA request. Volpicel over there. Other emails from that FOIA request show that in the weeks leading up to the June 15 attack, Commander was again being led off leash on the White House grounds by the dimwit. Just for situational awareness, it seems that we're back to the canine being led off leash to roam the grounds freely, one Secret Service official warned others in an email on May 23rd, 2023. Tonight we had the team on the roadway for the evening sweep when Redacted brought the dog out. President Redacted brought the dog out.
President Redacted?
No, I'm just saying it just says Redacted. I'm being silly, but not too silly. Brought the dog out. Canine ran directly south and bounced between us techs. Though no one was bitten, it's just a matter of time before it happens, said a Secret Service official whose name was also redacted. All the photos. Several days later, a Secret Service agent warned those staffing Camp David the commander is either let out or gets out of the house on his own off leash. leash. The agent said he had just had a close call with the German Shepherd, letting his caveman instincts spook the dog away. In all seriousness, standing tall and yelling his name and stop is your best bet to not get bit, the agent wrote. Once I yelled at him and faced him, he turned around and started sniffing a bush, a.k.a. respecting me as the alpha I am. Well, he's certainly more of an alpha than Biden. At the same time, the Secret Service was asking all of its employees if they'd ever been bitten by the Biden's dog in order to create a record of the attacks. Coincidentally, June 15, 2023, the day of the Kennedy Garden attack, was the deadline for Secret Service officials to report back and say whether they had been bitten by Commander. The Secret Service is compiling a spreadsheet of all the incidents involving Commander, including where on the White House premises they occurred and what body parts the dog went after.
What body parts the dog went after?
In a new batch of documents released by Judicial Watch on Thursday, officials shared an updated spreadsheet showing the June 15 biting incident and one from late July. Right underneath what I just read, there's a photo of the dog in his normal capacity. God, scary.
It's like a shark.
The emails also detailed another attack in the Kennedy Garden, this one with President Joe Biden in tow. Great. The agent recalled that on September 12, 2023, Biden and a leashed commander headed outside of the Kennedy Garden for the walk. Biden opened the outside door to tell the agent something when the assault occurred. As I started to walk toward him to see if he needed help, Commander ran through his legs and bit my left arm through the front of my jacket, the Secret Service official said. I pulled my arm away and yelled no. POTUS also yelled redacted to Commander. What's the matter with you? To Commander. POTUS then redacted. I obliged and Commander let me pet him. Must be a secret code word the president uses to calm the doggy's butt down.
Children.
When turning to close the door, the views expressed, never mind. When turning to close the door, Commander jumped again and bit my left arm for the second time, the Secret Service official continued. POTUS again yelled at Commander and attached the leash to him. The agent added the suit coat had 3 holes in it from the attack, but no skin was broken. Following a different Commander attack in September, a sergeant with the Secret Service flagged to a colleague, FYI, there was a dog bite and the officer may need to go to the hospital. Have a safe shift, the official added. By October 4, 2023, a spokesperson for the White House confirmed that the dog had been moved off-site. Commander was given to the President and First Lady after their rescued German Shepherd Major was removed from the White House for biting Secret Service agents. A puppy at the time, Commander was a birthday gift from the President's brother James and sister-in-law Sarah, made his debut in December 2021. Another Biden German Shepherd, champ, died in June 2021. So yeah, they're not good at keeping dogs, and there's actual photos
of the dog literally biting people.
The dog biting people.
Seriously, it is not.
I think after the first time they should have taken him somewhere.
He is the most powerful and one of the richest human beings on the planet, and he couldn't send his damn dog out to be trained. I mean, are you kidding me? He's the president, supposedly, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, of the United States of America. And he couldn't be bothered to send his dog out to be trained? What is wrong with this administration?
Oh, we have a few hours. Anyway.
These people are sick. They're just sick. Ugh. Speaking of sick, what say you?
Let's say me.
And now CCW News presents Holy Crap! This is actually happening! Reimagined edition, June 18, 2024. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is that CNN has declared the United States is not a constitutional republic, and you're a tinfoil hat-wearing tyrannical insurrectionist if you believed otherwise. No. Really, I swear I am not making this up. LA City Council member Nithya Raman and her colorful crew of workers stepped over human feces, dirty needles, and illegal immigrants sleeping on the sidewalk so that they could take down homophobic U-turn signs. It's all about priorities, folks. Instead of going after the cowardly Uvalde police for not doing their jobs or the morons who poorly did their jobs by propping the school's doors open, the victims' parents are suing FedEx and UPS for actually doing their jobs. The lawsuit claims the company shipped an enhanced trigger system that allowed the gunman to, quote, convert a firearm into a fully automatic or semi-automatic weapon, end quote. No, really, the suit has that exact wording, so I'll just leave this here. Now that grifting off your dead children has become fashionable, the Sandy Hook parents have forced Alex Jones, who had positively nothing to do with the shootings, to liquidate his entire life's work for the crime of engaging in his First Amendment rights. The ridiculous judgment, remember, for someone not in any way involved in the shootings, totals $1.5 billion. They are now trying to seize all of his social media accounts, which begs the question, why do they want to not only ruin, but totally silence the man who simply asked questions about what we all saw? Speaking of asking important questions, TV doctor Anthony Fauci, aka The Science, or to the rest of us, the Beagle Torturer, was called to testify at a House hearing on the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now that he's under oath and actually being questioned instead of worshipped, he finally admitted that he quite literally made everything up, from the origins of the virus he helped create, to masking children, to 6-foot distancing. It turns out that all of us with 3-digit IQs are not crazy conspiracy theorists after all. Of course, all mainstream media focused on how The Science was actually the victim of supposed threats to his family, rather than on the fact that he may be responsible for the deaths of millions. In an even more desperate and petty move than a diversity hire DA, New Jersey's Division of Alcoholic Beverage Control is going after Trump's golf course's liquor licenses. Apparently, there is a law prohibiting granting such licenses to, quote, any person who has been convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude and feel that the Frankenstein felony convictions for accounting entries meet this standard. Lack of moral turpitude. New Jersey. I swear, I am not making this up. Speaking of desperate, Biden's constant retelling of whoppers involving conductors, cannibals, and corn pop just aren't bringing in the youngsters like they used to. So his handlers have hired Steven Spielberg to reimagine his campaign. While most Americans are struggling to buy groceries, pay rent, and keep the lights on while fearing nuclear war and facing a full-on foreign invasion at the border, Spielberg's former DreamWorks business partner, Jeffrey Katzenberg, is now a chair of the Biden campaign. If anyone can create the fantasy that the cabbage in chief is both cognizant and continent, it's this team. This move may or may not be related to Biden's speech at the G7, where he basically told the entire world that we are out of munitions and can't help any other country start an endless war until we're done in Ukraine. No, I swear, I wish I were making this up. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, this is actually happening! I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Tonight's episode of Florida, The Tale of Two Little
so stupid.
Now, you might ask why we're talking about a story from New York City. Because
like a genius and maybe
Midtown Manhattan, a Florida man is accused of throwing furniture off a Midtown high-rise building last Friday, according to the NYPD. John Oliver, 33, allegedly entered 555 Fifth Avenue, boy, that is definitely Midtown, without permission around 2...
That's 5 Fifth. That's like right smack.
come and meet those dancing feet. Allegedly entered 555 Fifth Avenue without permission around 2:15 p.m., went up to the 20th floor patio, and tossed tables and chairs over the side of the street below, according to authorities. No injuries, fortunately, were reported. A Citizen app video showed a shirtless man on the patio, pacing back and forth and occasionally raising his arms. A crowd of onlookers watched him from the street, video showed. The NYPD appeared to shut down the part of the street where the furniture landed, video showed. Oliver was charged with burglary, reckless endangerment, criminal mischief.
Mischief! Hey,
And criminal trespass.
you want to see the video?
Yeah.
My God, he's throwing a table. A man was arrested in New York City after throwing furniture off a high-rise building terrace. According to the NYPD,
somebody.
John Olivier
He
unlawfully
He could
entered a
seriously
Midtown
kill
building
somebody.
and went to the 20th
I think he hits a
floor.
bus with one of them.
Olivier was captured on video hurling benches and chairs off the building and onto the busy street and sidewalk below.
Yep, there's the bus. Conk.
The 33-year-old
Yeah,
Florida
any one of those
resident was
passers-by.
arrested
There
and
he
charged
goes.
with reckless
Bye-bye.
endangerment and criminal mischief.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Reached out to
coppers.
Olivier's
Sucks to
attorney
be
and declined to
you.
comment.
Anyway, dude is from West Park, Florida, which is located near Fort Lauderdale. So he qualifies as a Florida man because he's from Florida
He
and
qualifies because
does dumb stuff.
he is a Florida man.
Okay,
yes.
so I know that there was a lot of furniture, but I don't think it totaled 3,000 pounds. So hit it, Melanie Hope.
Oh, ain't he purty? Oh, he purty!
Yeah, he's the Tiger
Oh.
King's ugly brother.
He looks a little miffed.
Yeah.
But not quite the Trump photo, but up there. 2 men were arrested after nearly 3,000 pounds of trash were removed from the Ocala National Forest. Nice move, guy. According to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. In a release, the FWC announced that it began investigating the forest earlier this month after a dump site was discovered with 2,780 pounds of household garbage, including, of course, furniture and appliances. You really thought you could do it in a national park, you complete idiot. And there is all the garbage in question.
That is sad.
I cannot tell a lie. I put that envelope at the bottom of that pile.
Garbage.
Detectives said they managed to track the trash back to an address in Ocala. Aw, honey, did you really? Of course he did. Which had an active code enforcement case with the city.
Oh, even better.
Picked the wrong day, buddy. Photos from that case revealed that the same trash found in the forest had originally been loaded in a trailer on the addresser's lawn, connecting Gary Cardwell, 41, with the dump site, according to the investigators. So he already got in trouble for the same trash and thought, oh, I'll just take it to a park?
Uh-huh.
Cardwell was arrested after telling officers that he was the one who dumped the litter. The release shows he also told officers that he worked together with another man, Johnny Reese, 37, to dump the trash. An arrest report said, nice. You're going to have a lot of fun in jail with his buddy.
He has a tattoo of Gossamer on his chest, the Warner Brothers
Oh, it does.
red
Yeah, it does
heart-shaped
look like,
beast.
Only you would recognize that.
Yeah,
I like how they put the size of his shirt out front.
2X, yeah.
So he sold his buddy down the river, too. How nice.
Of course he did.
After Cardwell was taken into custody, investigators said they found meth. Surprise, surprise, surprise!
Oh!
Fentanyl and drug paraphernalia. Wow, not just meth, but fentanyl as well. Yeeks. Guy has a death wish. Reese was also arrested on accusations that he owned the truck and trailer used to dump the trash in the forest. According to the release, all the garbage was eventually removed from the forest, at great expense to taxpayers. Hey, some of those coolers and whatnot look like they're in good condition. Cardwell faces several drug-related charges and 1 count of littering over 500 pounds. He is held on bond of $17,500 and banned from the Ocala National Forest for one lousy stinking year.
1 year? How about forever?
How about he has to clean it up from now on?
Yeah, there you go.
Florida
Every
man.
single year from now on.
Florida man. What is this?
Okay, now this guy's a piece of work. We give you only the most high quality stories about the most low quality people.
High quality to low quality.
All right.
The
The most high quality losers in the
high quality losers, yes.
Martin County, Florida. A Florida man, who
Yeah.
else, was caught on video purchasing a mask from a gas station before walking across the street to burglarize and unlock the bank on Saturday. Around 7 p.m., Colton Van Honenstein, I'm just going to call him CVH, 33 of Hobie Sound, was caught on surveillance video at a gas station located off US 1 buying the mask. Officials said Van Honenstein then went to the Wells Fargo bank across the street.
That's one heck of a last name, man.
It is. Which was closed but left unlocked.
Oh, somebody's in trouble.
Yeah, somebody at the bank is going to lose their job, rightfully so.
It was probably the custodian.
Probably. Which was closed but left unlocked, began rummaging through drawers and cabinets. All of them were left empty, so he left because, genius, they don't put the cash in the in desk drawers, okay? Deputies received a call from the bank's monitoring system of a bank robbery in progress after they spotted a masked man inside and following the building's alarm going off. The sheriff's office surrounded the bank but said no one was inside. Later, the alarm company said they waited at least an hour to call deputies and that the suspect was long gone, according to the sheriff's office.
Some alarm company you are.
With the help of security footage, Vanderhoosen was later found and arrested. He was charged with burglary, despite the fact that the only thing he walked in with was
the bad dressing.
Yeah, he's not a fashion maven. The only thing he walked with was the mask that set him back $5, the officials said. I love it when they post social.
Cost him money.
Slapped the guy. I love that. Deputies are investigating why the bank's doors were left unlocked and why the alarm monitoring company was ridiculously delayed in their response.
Why did that take them so long? I don't get it.
I don't either.
That took them a long time. Okay. Well, this guy's not so smart either. So, while the last guy paid to rob the bank, this guy outed himself, basically. That's a lot of... I guess it's not legal in Florida. A Florida man was arrested in Rapids Parish for possessing 150 pounds of marijuana, according to the sheriff's office.
Granny won't smoke some. Granny won't smoke some.
John Michael Grezik, 37, of Orlando, was pulled over on June 13th for a minor traffic violation. Dum-dum. With the use of a K9, 150 pounds of high-grade marijuana were discovered in his truck. Its value was determined to be approximately $679,000. You could buy a lot of dog training for that.
Yeah.
Grezik was placed under arrest without incident and booked into the detention center for following too close. That's what he got pulled over. He was following too close. So a little bit of road rage and you got busted, you dum-dum. Open container, so he's driving along with booze in his hand.
You made just one too many mistakes there, boy.
With intent to... Now, how do they know he had intent to distribute? Maybe you're just going to hold him.
When you have that much...
That's a lifetime supply. I'd stick it in the freezer and have at it.
I don't know. That's an awful lot.
Okay. He was released on June 15th on a $150,000 bond. I don't know how you come up with that. Yeah. Not so brilliant are our Florida men.
Loser. Okay.
Loser.
Here we go. Yet another Florida man was arrested after he broke into his ex-girlfriend's home, smashing her fish tank, then flushing the fish down the toilet, according to an arrest report.
Insult to injury. What did the poor little fish do to you jerk?
Maybe one of them bit him. You don't know.
Fish.
On May 4th, maybe she...
teeth.
It just didn't say there were goldfish. It could have been piranhas.
Oh, I'm sure he took them. It was a German Shepherd.
On May 4th, Lee County...
It was a German Shepherd dogfish.
Commander Dogfish. On May 4th, Lee County deputies responded to a Cape Coral home regarding a battery incident. The victim who lived at the home...
He couldn't get his car started.
He couldn't get his car started. The victim who lived at the home told officials that Brett Austin Dahl... Now see, with a highfalutin name like that, you'd think you'd live your life better.
I practically need to lift my pinky to read that name.
Brett Austin Dahl...
Yes.
broke into the house through a window 2:30 a.m. and attacked her. According to the affidavit, Dahl threw a picture frame at her and demanded she tell him where his firearm was.
But not the picture, just the frame. So I'm picturing this woman yelling at the guy as she's taking the picture out of the frame so she can throw
You best not
just
throw
the frame.
You best not throw that picture frame at me. Anyway, demanded she tell him where his firearm was. Dahl then pushed her into a closet door, causing her to fall, and began knocking everything off the kitchen counter and other items, including the TV, thermostat, 2 ceiling fans, and dishware, among other items. So he began knocking the ceiling fans off of the counter, off the kitchen counter. I don't know.
Hey guys, if you'd like a writer that wouldn't write such things,
no. If you read it a second time, it makes sense. The report said Dahl smashed the victim's 300
and other items, including the TV, thermostat.
Right.
Okay.
So and other items. The report said Dahl smashed the victim's $300 betta fish tank containing her fish Bean. The victim told officials she heard Dahl flush the toilet and did not see her fish after that. Dahl then grabbed her phone and took off from the house. As he was leaving, he kicked and shattered her vehicle's headlight and smashed one of the car's windows before he left in his friend's Jag.
What?
Yeah, his friend's Jaguar. Cape Coral police said Dahl caused nearly $3,370 in damage and unnecessarily killed an animal when he deliberately and maliciously took the life of the victim's betta fish.
And just for the record, betta fish have small teeth that are used for various purposes, including breaking down chunky pieces of food to make them digestible, catching prey such as aquatic insects, small fish, and worms, and defending themselves or their territory. So I hope that little fish went down fighting.
Dahl was arrested later that morning and was taken to Lee County Jail. He was charged with battery, domestic violence, grand theft,
criminal mischief,
property damage, that is, tampering with a victim, and animal cruelty. Court records show Dahl had a court date on June 10, but remains in custody.
You can get a charge of animal cruelty for a betta fish.
Yes, because of the level of cruelty. I mean,
But you look at how they're kept in, shot glass sized things at the pet store, and that's okay.
Because they have them there with the intention of selling them off to somebody who'll put them in a full-sized container, I would hope. Always, always, always shut your phone off at appropriate times.
It's just Dumb and Dumber in Florida.
I mean,
here.
it's bad enough that people at our church do that. They keep the phone on. Not only that, but they answer the phone and start yammering.
A discussion.
If I get to go up there first, the first thing exiting my mouth next week is please shut off your cell phone.
Shut off your phones, yeah.
Don't
pretend like we're on a.
Don't be a schmuck. Pretend we're at church and turn off your phone.
Pretend we were at church and you're adults, and let's A wanted Florida man was taken into custody on Saturday after his phone tipped off deputies that he was hiding from them in the ceiling of a business. The Polk County Sheriff's Office said 38-year-old Joshua Garrett was arrested and charged with resisting arrest and felony criminal mischief.
Yeah.
According to the Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to the disturbance near US 98 North and we don't care. When the deputies arrived, they were told the man causing the disturbance, later identified as Garrett, had left the business. Oh, he pretty. He's been inside a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's
nice eyes, though.
Yeah, except for little tattoos.
After identifying the man as Garrett, deputies learned that he was wanted for violating his probation. Surprise, surprise. Which he was given after being convicted of providing false information to a pawnbroker. That's a thing. And trafficking stolen property, which is probably what the false information was about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deputies began searching for Garrett in the area and stopped at a business where he was employed. Seriously, the dude ran to where...
You don't do this kind of stuff because you're bright.
Yeah. When they arrived, deputies confirmed Garrett walked into the business, but never left. The deputies did an initial search of the property, but could not find him. Still, they believed Garrett could be in the building and saw a few ceiling tiles were out of... They didn't even replace the ceiling tiles? Really, dude? The deputies, of course, then heard Garrett's phone ringing and started searching above the tiles. As they searched, investigators spotted a hand sticking out.
Hi, I'm here.
Mom,
I can't talk now, Bob.
Mom, not now, Mom. Thankfully, The hand was attached to a body. Garrett's, and not just some random disembodied hand, the sheriff's office said in a Facebook
I love
post.
sheriff's office posts, man. They're like the
That's
snarkiest
hilarious.
bastards, I'm telling
That
you.
would have taken the situation in a whole other direction. Garrett was ultimately removed from the building and transported to the Pokey. The Pokey.
The Polk County Pokey.
And he was charged with resisting a felony criminal
Criminal
mischief
mischief.
after causing about $1,000 worth of damage to his employer's ceiling. Now, what do you bet he doesn't have a job anymore?
Don't know.
Yeah. Not too bright, are
Yep.
Lord of Men.
15 watts at best.
15 months. I like it. I'll run with it. Well, folks, we've had quite a time. I think we shall wrap up with my favorite segment. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller. All yours, Jim. Take it away.
All mine, Jim. Take it away thusly. The woman in this photo looks smashingly a lot like Adele.
She does.
She looks very much like Adele.
She's
but
holding a little baby duck.
in her hands, anyway.
She got the whole duck.
Okay. A West Belfast mum, given 4 months to live after a devastating cancer diagnosis last week, says she's been overwhelmed by the kindness of the local community after £30,000 has been raised in just 24 hours for her treatment.
Aww.
Rachel Burns, a 22-year-old mom whose daughter just celebrated her first
just
birthday, just a
Baby.
child herself, was given the unimaginable news last week after first experiencing dizzy spells and irritation in her eyes 8 months ago.
I'm glad you're reading this one because this is the exact thing my mom went through.
With her options on the NHS limited, I think that's
National
like
Health
Service. So yeah, Medicare basically. Rachel and her family
Not
are planning.
even as good as Medicare.
Okay. Rachel and her family are planning to travel to Germany for an alternative treatment, which they hope will prolong her life. After speaking to Belfast Live on Thursday, almost £30,000 has been raised for Rachel's treatment, and the young mom says she never in her wildest dreams thought they would hit their targets so quick. I'm just totally overwhelmed by the response we've gotten so far, Rachel said. Belfast is such a small place, but you never think that people from all over would show as much kindness as they have done for me and my family. It is a scary time to be going through all of this, but this has given me more hope than I can spend more time with my family. After the huge swell of support for Rachel on Thursday, she has started to make plans to travel to Germany for the potentially life-saving treatment known as ONC-201. I spoke with the doctor yesterday, and now we're able to start making plans to go over. Time is really important for me now, so to be able to have raised so much money so quickly is just unbelievable. I just want to say thank you to every single person who's donated so far. You don't know the difference it has made to me and my family.
And we, of course, will have the link up at Counterculture Wise. Exactly.
Well, God bless, and I hope you make it through.
I hope she at least gets to
What
see
a
her little girl.
lovely looking family.
See her little girl go to school. Gosh.
I want her to see her kid graduate high school.
Yeah, I'm gonna see her Daddy walk her down the aisle at her wedding. I'm just so young. So much life ahead of her. Well, folks, I hope there's a lot of life ahead of you, too. May you have an amazing week. Go out and do something nice for somebody else. It'll make you feel better, it'll make them feel better, and it'll make the world a better place. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Counterculture Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.